Welcome back to Attack on Titan anime review. Episode number 28. Yes, it has been a long time since the ending of season 3. Yep, a long time. Back in July of last year. Yep, on July 1st is when they finally ended the most recent season of the series. And here we are, 1 year later. Now, prior to this particular episode coming out, this is the 60th episode review for this, which is called, I don't believe it or not. Let's see if we can find it here. I think it's called The Other Side of the Sea. Yeah, that's the episode. Mm-hmm. Which, believe it or not, that's actually also the name of one of the chapters of the manga. Yep, that's the gist of it. Now, yeah. This episode is actually adapted from 91-92. Though they actually added some bits here. Oh yes, because where the episode ended is actually not where the manga ended for chapter 92. Oh no, the last little bit for the episode, that's all complete anime original. Now, mostly if you watch this episode, it's like, what? Are we watching something from World War One? With the attire, the basically. There's only two familiar characters you see here, and that's Reiner and Zeke, aka the Armored Titan and the Beast Titan. Yes, they are here, which is good, because those two are the only familiar characters here. Because I should point out, though, this arc, which is the pendulum arc of the series, the Marley arc, that throughout the first 10 chapters of this arc, aside from Reiner and the Beast Titan, none of the regular characters show up in this arc. It takes them a freaking long time. It's not until toward the very end of this arc when these characters finally show up here. The episode introduces two new characters, Gabby and Falco, who do become regular characters in the actual, not only this arc, this is the arc introduction of these two new characters, and the next arc of the series, basically, they play a pretty big role basically toward the end of the series. I like the fact that we bring him here in this episode. I should point out Gabby is almost a spitting image of Sasha. Yes. A character she's going to have a connection with toward the very end of this arc. So, the episode begins pretty much how the chapter 91 begins, with Falco lying on the battlefield. Though they do slightly alter, basically, of his interaction with his older brother. It's like, what are you doing here, Falco? Why are you dressed like... Of course, he doesn't mention why he's dressed like that. He just basically gives him a piggyback ride, runs him straight back to the trench. I'm thinking, trench? Trench warfare? Yes. Basically, it seems like the Marlians are operating in the style of World War I Europe. That's basically what we're looking at, basically with the trenches, and the fact we have frickin' turret guns. Yes, these are the same type of guns they even used in World War II. Though a slightly updated version. These are basically like cannons. And the way they hold them in the anime, from movies I've seen them in, yeah, that's how they held them in real life. So that actually is not untrue. And they even have actual bunker, not bunker type of things, basically an actual turret area, basically. Yeah, a lot of the stuff simply they take from World War I Europe. Mostly, it seems like the Marlians are basically heavily inspired, based upon the uniforms, I would say by World War I Germany. Yes, but in the case of the people where they fight in this episode, the Mid-East Alliance, it seems like their uniforms are inspired by the Arab uniforms from World War I. And it almost seems like the hats they wear look like frickin' fezzes, except without the little golden thing that's usually attached to their hats. Yeah, but they look like frickin' fezzes. So, basically, Gabby comes with the interesting idea. Of course, Falco, of course, is being bandaged up. And also, he's suffering through temporary amnesia. Probably because of the shock he's under. So, Gab basically straps together 7 grenades. And these are early 20th century grenades. When you think of a grenade, you think of something green that you pull with a pen like this and you throw it. That's typically when I think of. I've seen pictures of grenades. I have seen a grenade in person, so I know exactly what a grenade looks like. This is basically World War One, even World War Two. Germany, basically, I've seen movies basically would use the same type of grenade. Basically, it's like almost like throwing a stick of dynamite. This thing, where it's kind of like a little tube top on it, but the thing to pull to activate it is actually in the bottom. Yes, there's a little switch you pull, and you throw it like you're throwing a baton. Now, how do I know this? Because I've seen the movies. That is simply put how I know about these particular type of grenades. So what Gabby does, she straps 7 together to make this sort of mini bomb. So she also takes the time. Now, her plan is simply this: to strip down to her underwear, though you don't see her bra and panties, just basically like World War One's, I would say, early 20th century underwear, basically with the whole shirt top and almost like short side panties. That's what she's wearing. And of course, she's given permission to do this, and plus take off her armband for this one occasion, because apparently because she's an alien, she has to wear these particular armbands. I'm like, yes, this is probably heavily inspired by how Nazi Germany treated the Jews. Yes. Basically, from what I've read, and actually seen actual footage, even like not only films, but also documentaries, Jewish people had to wear these armbands. Yes, they did. So, she's given permission to take it off, though. They cut the guy's line where he says, fine. In the manga, he says, fine, for now. So she runs out. She basically walks out with her hands like this, and basically look like she's surrendering, though she has the grenade thing tied to her foot. They look like she trips, and the guys are like, what the heck are they doing? They, of course, they think she's an alien, but they can't tell because the armband's not there. And then when she sees the armored train, which they point out, though, this armored train can actually kill frickin' Titans. Which begs the question, why the heck did they not develop this thing sooner? Yes, and this is the first season of the series where you have more than a few characters using actual frickin' guns. From what I can tell, these are World War I era style weapons. That's what I can tell anyways. So, she basically, when the thing comes very close, it's like, wait, and then she removes it and she throws it. Of course, she removes the pins from first, then she throws it. Then, of course, the train is destroyed. And then, like, okay, at that point, they summon out the frickin' Jaw Titan. All they say was Gallard, and they mention the Jaw Titan, but they don't say Jaw Titan. I get the reason why they cut the portion of the dialogue, because it would be shocked the fact we see a frickin' Jaw Titan. And this is the first time a Jaw Titan's been seen since the end of season 2 of the show. Yes. That was, now, the thing about Gallard is, he's actually Yumi's brother. No joke about that. This guy is actually her brother. Yeah, as far as, in case you're asking though, has this guy ever made contact with Krista, with Historia? No, not currently, no. I can't think of a time they actually made contact, which it would be interesting though. Especially as so much Yumi had much of an attachment to Historia. So, he pretty much just wipes the floor with the Alliance forces. And then, of course, they get clearance basically to launch these paratroopers, which transform into frickin' Titans. Yep. And, of course, then we have a wonderful homage to the pilot episode of the series where you have one of the Titans stick their hand out. Now, I like this change because this is actually really cool. And I should point out, though, before I continue, this is done by Mappa. That's studio makes it, not WIT. Yeah, they changed studios. Now, from what I heard, there is no explained reason why they changed, except the fact this is a sub-studio of a bigger studio. That's basically who runs the attack. And apparently, get this, from what I heard, WIT Studio had no say in what goes on with this particular series. They were told simply just to make the series. That's it. Any kind of major changes to it have to go through the Attack on Titan committee. Which, a lot of these animes have their own freaking committees. Fine, whatever. But this is the only time I've heard where an actual studio had no say in exactly what goes on. And I should also point out, though, Mappa does... Now, this is the first series I've ever seen Mappa ever do. And this animation looks freaking good. Like, wow. Because here's the thing. I have not heard any reviews about this episode just yet, because it was only leaked just a couple days ago. And now, what I heard also, when they I remember this basically when One Punch Man and Seven Deadly Sins, when those two shows changed seasons, they had different animation. Not the case of this. Nope. Not the case of this one, because the animation is improved, much improved, and it seems like much more higher quality than it was in the previous season of the show. Okay. Yeah, but continuing on, then of course after the... Now in the manga, basically when this Titan comes, it's basically show its arm stick up over the wall. In the anime, it's a clear nod to the pilot episode when the Colossal Titan first showed up. Which, kudos to the fact they did that. I love the fact that Mappa did that. Because my guess is one of the animators must really love that opening shot of... One of those... When the famous opening shot of Attack on Titan when the Colossal Titan is first seen over the wall. And they must have clearly homaged to here for that purpose. Because that's just my opinion anyways. So, then of course, after some of the Titans were killed, then Reiner is dropped in. And now, it was mentioned about when you mentioned, oh, look, walls again. Now, in the manga, they show Eren and the rest of the Survey Corps. Well, some members of the Survey Corps. In the anime, they just show one of the walls of Paradise Island. And he transforms. He basically wipes the floor with the troops. And then, of course, there's another armor train, which hurts him, also blows up part of his arm, wounds his shoulder too. They was able to take it out, no problem. And then Zeke is dropped in right after that. And by the way, I love the fact they keep his line from the manga. His first line he says when he's his Beast Titan form in this episode, "War is such a terrible thing." Yes, he said that very same line from the manga, which kudos for the actor for saying that line. And then he just picks up some shells, some tank shells. And he throws it like he did at the end of the previous season, like when he was throwing the boulders at the Survey Corps troops. Here, he throws it at the Alliance ships, which look suspiciously like World War I era Navy ships. And these things, basically, when he throws it, these things also fire back at him like frickin' destroyers. Though the Armor Titan does block it, because of the fact that, well, he's probably his subordinate now. So, then of course, the fleet is destroyed, thanks to another attack by the Beast Titan, and then we cut to pretty much the town, one of the towns basically celebrating the fact they actually won. They mentioned, oh yeah, because this battle we won, they have basically secured a peace treaty. And this also mentions the end of the era of the Titan dominance. Yeah, they say the era of that is reaching towards its conclusion. They also bring up the fact that 9 years ago, they lost the Founding Titan. And a few years ago, they lost both the Female Titan and the Colossal Titan. Now, the Founding Titan is with Eren. The Female Titan is actually in prison. She's not been, absorbed by anybody. And the Colossal Titan is with Armin. Yeah. So, all in all, I gotta say, damn good episode. And I highly recommend people who are fans of Attack on Titan, just watch this episode. It's so damn good. Oh, and also, the name of the chapters were The Heiress of the Sea, which is the name of this episode. And the second one is Marley Soldiers. That's the name of chapter for 92. And, well, the whole thing of them celebration, that's actually anime original. Which... The thing is, when it comes to anime original stuff, when it comes to Attack on Titan, they don't really do it very much. I would say, the first time they made any major changes to source material was with the Uprising arc. Yes. Which, from what I've heard, the creator actually wanted to change because he actually regrets a lot of the stuff he did in the original when he originally came out with the Uprising arc. This arc, I don't think he actually regrets anything about this arc. Though it's cool, though, he introduces new characters, which it's been a while since there's any brand new characters. Though I should point out, though, that Colt, that's Falco's brother, he's actually been chosen to be the successor to the Beast Titan. And Falco and Gabby are rivals for being the successor to the Armor Titan. interesting to say the least. Despite the fact Reiner, I think, has a bit more time on him. Now, it's revealed later on in the manga that Zeke has a year left of his life. Reiner probably has a little bit more than that. I don't know how much further he has for his life. They don't really mention the manga. Yeah. Well, all in all, great episode. Can't wait for next week's episode, which will be the 61st episode of the series, Midnight Train, which probably will adapt chapters 93 and 94. The arc itself, I think, was about 16 chapters, so they can probably wrap this up if they do what they did in this episode. They can probably wrap this up in about 8 episodes. Yeah, though I think that the final chapter of the current arc of the series will probably be released either this month or next month. I'm not really sure. But I know that 136 is supposed to be the conclusion for the series. Yep, so yeah, that's it for Singular View. Now, my next review video is going to be Black Clover. I'm going to watch that next. I'm going to do my review for it, okay? See you next video. Bye.